everyone. Welcome to another episode of Me, My Wife, and Sports. I'm your host, Fitz, with my lovely co-host, Darcy.
Hello.
All right. The main Olympics is over and Paralympics soon to begin, August 28th to September 8th. And I'm excited to witness those athletes.
Yes, should be very interesting.
But I know you have
a bone to pick with the IOC, yes. The Paralympics, according to what I have seen thus far, will only be broadcast on Peacock. And I'm not sure why it's not going to be on NBC like the regular Olympics.
Hopefully you just...
So I'm feeling some kind of way.
Well, hopefully you just missed something and it is. But if anyone out there knows for sure something we missed, please let us know.
Let us know. Because if that just doesn't seem fair. It should be on NBC for 2 weeks, taking up all of the primetime slots and blocking out everything else like the Olympics did, and not making everybody have to go get a subscription to Peacock to watch it. You know, I mean, that's just not fair.
Well, since Peacock and NBC are all in one for the most part, hopefully they'll put it on NBC.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
But the last thing I saw said live on Peacock, and Peacock isn't free. So I'm not really sure why that is so, but I'm hoping that I missed something. And like you said, if somebody knows something, please DM us on our Facebook page or shoot us an email and let us know at our email address. But just doesn't seem
fair. I totally agree. Hopefully this problem will be rectified. If not, I'm sure you're being the queen of
surveys.
They'll get
the IOC is about to find out. They better ask somebody. Delta, MGM. They all know.
Right.
Yeah, they'll find out real soon.
Now, I know we've been having discussion offline about Jordan Childs.
Oh, man, Jordan Childs.
And I'm going to open that door up for you because I did some reading on it as well. And it's just a hot mess.
You know, so Jordan Childs.
Especially with that director or whatever he is, and I can't think of his name offhand, who made the decision not to accept the appeal. And come to find out he has ties with Romania.
So the headlines trending now are Jordan Childs' bronze medal snatched by head of panel who represents Romanian interest. What happens if Jordan Childs doesn't give back the bronze medal?
They go send a raid squad to her door. No.
I just don't understand. Jordan Childs must return her bronze medal.
You know, something similar to this happened to the Jamaican relay team. I can't remember which Olympics, but it was with Usain Bolt. But it was more of a doping issue. One of the players who was running, he tested positive after the fact. They all had to return their medals because of that one individual who they probably gave him a blanket party. And for those who don't know what a blanket party, well, my military veterans probably know what a blanket party is. But for those who don't, look it up. So they're also talking about, with Jordan Childs, possibly giving both of them. Well, actually, they were talking about 3 people getting the medal.
Yeah, because I'm so confused.
I know. I thought it was just those 2 involved, but I guess it's a third person. Somewhere along the line?
Yeah, somewhere along the line. And I don't even know how this third person came into play.
But what do you put in the official record book? You know, they all 3...
This is just a mess.
Tied, which they didn't because the scores were obviously different for all 3.
They said that the Romanian Gymnast Federation said that the inquiry was filed 4 seconds after the 1-minute deadline.
Right.
But the U.S. National Olympic committee said that it was filed twice. Now, I'm not seeing that information anywhere now, but.
Well, the problem is with this appeal and the fact that it was denied, the U.S. wasn't able to submit the footage that showed.
Okay.
And so if the U.S. was able to get the appeal approved, then the committee would have saw the footage supposedly. But because of that, they weren't accepting any new evidence or anything. And I don't know if they have their own footage or the person who they appealed to documented the time, either electronic or wrote it down. But they wouldn't, at the time, the U.S. team did not have the footage. So when they did the appeal, they said, hey, we got the footage here. And it's like, nope, appeal denied. So they didn't even look at anything because it never made it that far.
Right.
I tell you, it's a mess. And, you playing with people's emotions. And actually, I read that Jordan Childs was getting nasty, I won't say threats, but nasty, what do you call it? Nasty comments on her social media page.
From who?
From just the public.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because of this. And she says she's taking a break from social media.
I think all athletes should not have social media. I mean, but, they're people. This is the thing. These young people are young people. I mean, I think we got a show out there somewhere.
Right.
We got a podcast out there about that, y'all. They are young adults, and this is something that they do because they love it, and this is something that they've dreamed of, and they don't deserve all the negativity.
Correct.
Because spectators and fans feel some kind of way about it.
Exactly.
Keep in mind that this is somebody's child, this is somebody's sister, this could be somebody's mom, somebody's wife.
Well, also too, I think the athletes themselves got to understand when you're competing, you're going to have haters and you're going to have people that praise you. And you just got to sort of get your mindset prepared for that because this is a social media world now.
But this isn't over.
No.
The U.S., which we call our National Olympic Committee, they're still going to appeal this. It's still unclear how long it could take for our appeal to work through arbitration. And we don't know if Jordan has already returned the medal, but this is not over.
I doubt it.
And this is not, these things go on, and this type of thing has been going on probably since the Olympics started. But when you compete on an international level, you have to keep in mind that you are competing on an international level. And when you compete for the United States of America on an international level, and one of the biggest countries,
and everybody don't love the U.S.
The free world.
They're gonna get their digs
all
in
of the
some kind of way.
Those catchphrases that the world has for the United States of America. You got a huge target on your back,
right.
And then in this day and age, 2024, with the state of the world being what it is, they coming for us.
Exactly.
They should have got all of those athletes. Like there was probably no conditioning for these athletes. And
when you say conditioning, what are you?
I'm glad you asked that question because what I'm about to explain has absolutely nothing to do with sports, but I'm going to tie it all in for you all. Long, long time ago, when I first joined the military and was getting ready to go overseas, we got long discussions, lectures, training about what it meant to be an American overseas.
Now, how do we know they don't get that?
But we don't know.
Right.
But
now, whether they adhere to it or listen to it.
I'm wondering.
Because I'm sure they get all kinds of
I'm hoping that they do.
And everything, especially going overseas.
But
in another country.
You got to wonder, after the whole Brittany Griner incident, you got to wonder, are they talking to these people?
I think they are, but people are still saying, I'm Brittany Griner. The rules don't apply to me.
Well, yeah, but now we know the rules do apply to you.
Right. And believe me, I'm not saying that's what she thinks. This is just my opinion, giving an example.
No, we're not like the announcers that are sitting there watching going, and she's probably thinking this, because they have no idea what they're thinking.
Right.
What I'm saying is, I know what I was told being in the military, getting ready to go overseas.
Right.
And it was like, don't be walking around with the big cowboy hat on, being loud and obnoxious and being the what? What
the typical American.
No, the ugly American.
Yes.
Right? That was the catchphrase. Do not be the ugly American. We used to always hear that before going overseas. And so I'm hoping that they're giving that seems more important today than it was 40 years ago when I joined the military.
And two, folks are reaching out worldwide now, where the internet and all that wasn't.
We didn't have
social
none
media.
of that.
Yeah. Now, instead of the word of mouth, within milliseconds, somebody from halfway across the world is responding to something that you posted.
Exactly. And so, I say all that to say is that who knows what's really behind Romania being so adamant about having to have that medal and really like sticking to their guns about this, with everything that's going on in the world today. I feel bad for Jordan. I am a big Jordan Childs fan. I love her energy.
Right.
I love her personality.
I call her the hype woman for the
team.
gymnast.
Yes, I love that. And I hope that this doesn't kill or hurt her spirit.
Right.
I hope that her family and her friends surround her and love on her and keep her lifted in prayer and just keep her surrounded and protected. And as Americans, instead of taking shots at her, that's what we all should be doing, is loving on her and keeping her encouraged and supporting her and letting her know, no matter what the Olympic Committee says, you will always be our star. And you won the bronze. We don't care what anybody says.
Right.
In the discussion.
And staying in the gymnast realm of things, because there's a couple things I want to talk about before we move on, is the rhythmic gymnastics competition.
Right.
Which I never knew existed. Well, let me take that back. I knew it existed as an individual sport, but now it's a team sport, meaning there's several gymnasts, like I think 4 or 5, that participate, and it's with what you call a hula hoop. And that's just one category. They have
Is that the one where they have the ribbon?
They have the ribbon, the balls, and the clubs. I don't know what the clubs are, though. I was reading on it. I just didn't get into that. They had the hoop, which is the hula hoop, the ball and the ribbon and the clubs for that event. But now the event, since 1996, they made the event a team kind of sport with several individuals instead of one. And it focuses on a little bit of dance and a little bit of gymnastics combined. And this past Olympics is kind of, I won't say astonishing, but a good news, because, I'm pro whoever's doing something positive, that the Chinese actually got the gold in this sport, and it's their first time ever getting it. Because it's been around since 1996. And actually, as an individual sport, it's been around since 1984. But I thought that was great. And matter of fact, the way it ended was China came in first, Israel number 2, Italy 3, Bulgaria 4, Azerbaijan 5, France 6, Ukraine 7, and Uzbekistan 8. And I was kind of disappointed that how great our gymnasts are, that we didn't have somebody that made the top 3 or top 5. But hey, it is what it is. But I just found it was an interesting sport and fascinating to watch. The precision, throwing those hoops and doing their flips, catching the hoops, and also jumping through the hoops and throwing the hoops to other individuals, not even looking to catch them. It was just amazing. So enough said
That's
about
interesting,
that.
yeah.
One thing I wanted to bring up, which we talked about earlier, was the conception of breakdancing in this year's Olympics. And I watched several of them.
People aren't happy with the breakdancing being an Olympic sport.
It's funny you mentioned that because, first of all, let me hit this before I go into that. Canada won the gold, and who was Philip Kim, I think his name was. And the U.S. ended up getting the bronze medal. And I think France got the silver medal because they had a guy, he had like colored hair. His hair was blue one day, green one day. But it was great. But I was surprised the Canadian guy, Philip Kim, he did his thing. But I thought the U.S. guy was great personally. And the fact that breakdancing stemmed from New York here in the U.S., it's kind of a slap in the face that, damn it, we didn't win it. But at the same time, everybody steals our stuff. That's Fitz' opinion. So don't get mad at me. I'm just making an observation. In this particular sport. But with that said, the breakdance will not be in the 2028 Olympics.
Thank God. And you heard it here, y'all.
Well, but this was already decided before the Olympics even started.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's the committee for that particular country that's hosting it, decision on what
sports
they want to have in it.
So LA said, yeah, we're not doing breakdancing.
Exactly. So
Thank goodness.
Might come back. So just so you know. And, they're limited on the amount of sports that they can have. So, what do we really want? And some sports are coming back that were excluded.
Do you know which ones? Like what?
I think I mentioned it in a previous, but I cannot recall offhand.
You said softball was coming fall. Yeah.
Or I think, softball was eliminated. I remember, and karate was eliminated from the Olympics. But I'll look again.
Okay. I know, I heard on the radio that they were talking, and they just said that it just wasn't, it should not be considered a sport.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the general opinion out there was that, that's not an Olympic sport that should be in the Olympics. And people just weren't happy to see that. Like they were saying that they would rather see bowling in the Olympics.
Really?
Yeah. As a sport than breakdancing, which I could get with that. I don't know. But bowling is more of a sport than breakdancing.
So what do you consider breakdancing? More of a entertainment fad or what? Well, it's not a fad.
It's dancing.
Yeah, true.
So like we said before, if we gonna dance, well then let's do the electric slide. We're gonna get out there and we're gonna have 100 people from all the best. How many countries is there? Like 200 countries. Everybody pick one. Your best line dancers, and we're gonna all get on the floor, and the last man standing wins the gold. The last 3 standing, gold, silver, bronze, and it's dancing. That's why even though they cut out the dancing part and just called it breaking, well, that doesn't make sense.
Well, it's a form of dancing. So that's why I call it break dancing.
But they just called it breaking.
Well, yeah, true. Now,
which really refers to the breaking part, refers to the scratching of the music, not what the people are doing on the dancing.
Right. It was a filler.
The breaking is the
transition,
the skills of the record.
Right. Cool Herc. Shout outs to him because it came about when he was doing his DJing and he had a break in the music.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So breaking has absolutely nothing to do with it.
But they got to add a piece to it. Now, because breaking was one of the 5 new sports that they had added.
Somebody should have went and found Rebron and Raj and got them to be the hype man like they had Flavor Flav for.
Darcy. I don't think Rerun's still around.
Is he?
I think he's gone.
Okay. Well, rest in peace, Rerun. They had breakdancing at the Olympics in your memory.
But they added breaking, skateboarding, and sport climbing, which I don't know what that is.
It's
climbing the wall.
Yeah, rock wall climbing.
And surfing. And I think surfing was cool to add to it. And even skateboarding. Because skateboarding's been around for a long... Hey, I remember growing up having my own skateboard.
I can get with skateboarding because that's... I mean, I can get with it. I don't know if I agree with it, but okay.
I do. We have to agree to disagree on this one.
Which one?
Skateboarding.
Yeah, okay.
I think skateboarding.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if that's what y'all want to do, but I can even get with the... I did not see the...
Tony Hawk, go.
Climbing. But
I didn't see the climbing either.
But you know what?
Sport climbing,
okay, so we watched that climbing Mount Everest last night.
Right.
Now, if they was doing something like that, which we know they're not doing nothing like that, but the skill that goes into doing that would be sport.
Right.
If you climbing a wall and it's got the insets, you know how you see people putting their feet on those. What skill is there? They probably strapped in.
Well, of course it's a skill with it because everybody can't do it.
But you know what? We could go to a rock wall climbing place right now. They're going to strap you in. And if you fall, the strap's going to catch you.
Yeah, what do you want them to do? Let them climb and not be strapped in? So if they freaking die?
Yeah, but those guys that we was watching, if they failed, they died.
No, they had straps. They did.
But like, remember he said they lost their friend?
Well, yeah. Sometimes straps don't always work.
Exactly.
But we should have a sport in the Olympics that's life or death. This isn't back in Greece, back in Athens.
Okay, that's how you keep it interesting. All right, we are so off topic.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Also,
that's why y'all tune in. It's real interesting.
Now you made me forget my train of thought here. But moving on. So that was our take on this past Summer Olympics. And we will address the Paralympics a little bit more once it kicks in.
Paralympics is going to be very interesting. It does start August 28th. I was incorrect last week. It starts August 28th. It runs to September 8th. There are going to be 4,400 athletes, 20 venues, and 22 sports, which include, of interest, blind football.
Blind football?
Blind football. I'm telling you.
How does that work?
I don't know. I want to see it. We're going to have to subscribe to Peacock.
Right.
Because
we do have Peacock, just so you know.
I want to see it. Blind football.
I handle all the TV stuff here in the house, just so folks know.
They want to see. They have para archery, athletics, badminton, canoeing, cycling, judo, powerlifting, rowing, swimming, table tennis.
Okay.
Taekwondo.
A lot of the same
ones.
Sports.
Triathlon. Then they have wheelchair basketball.
Okay.
Fencing, rugby. Wheelchair rugby and tennis.
How do you do wheelchair rugby?
I don't know, but it's going to be very interesting. These are just a few.
And folks, we will be watching this to let you guys know what we found interesting with the various sports.
So please support the Paralympics.
Yes.
We have several athletes from the DMV, the District, Maryland, and Virginia area who will be competing. So please tune in and support our local and your local athletes. They will need and want your support just like you supported your Olympic athletes.
Exactly. Now, moving on, NFL in full swing. And for those who don't know,
preseason.
If you heard our earlier podcast, Darcy and I are big Cowboy fans. And Darcy herself is a big Jerry Jones fan. And for people who don't know, Jerry actually called her on her birthday.
Mr. Jones and I have a personal relationship. There'll be no Jerry Jones bashing on this show.
Well, don't say personal relationship. That sounds kind of like...
Well, he knows what I mean.
Right.
Call me, Jerry.
Yeah. And, he actually...
Mr. Jones, I'm sorry.
And I know she don't like me to talk about this, but he actually called her on her birthday last year.
On my personal phone.
Yeah. So it was kind of cool. But she's a Jerry Jones diehard fan
I am.
to the end. I like Jerry, but I don't always agree with him.
We can agree to disagree. That's what makes a good friendship.
I know a lot of folks, if you've been watching... I'm
going to need you to sign CD real soon, though.
If you guys been watching the preseason, these rookies, this new draft class, they're looking pretty good. And I get it. They're just playing against the other folks who are trying to make the team and other rookies and so forth. But, you still got to perform and still got to do what you do. These guys are looking good out there. So kudos to them. And CD will be signed. Speaking of that, it's funny you mentioned that about CD. Micah Parsons, who's also is coming up soon to be re-signed, as well as Dak. He made a comment, and his comment was that he guarantees CeeDee Lamb will play week 1.
Okay.
He knows that he's not going anywhere. This is what Micah said about CD.
Okay. Hey, whatever it takes. At this point, we just need y'all to get focused and let's get this done.
Yeah. Also, did you know that Mark Andrews, the tight end for Baltimore, was involved in a car crash?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. He just got healthy.
But no apparent injuries.
Okay.
So hopefully it stays that way because, they'll say one thing and then change it.
Right. They're not going to tell you if he's hurt or not. So, but hopefully he's not injured and safe, and nobody was injured. Right. So him nor the other person in the other vehicle.
Correct. So they're doing preseason, so you guys enjoy and watch the games. And
college football is starting on August 31st. I'm a college football fan too, so let's not forget about college football.
But ask her, what's her team?
I'm a fan. I went to Wayland Baptist University. Shout out to Wayland Baptist. We did not have a football team. Now, I don't know if they have a football team now. They did not have one when I was there.
I doubt if they did.
So I lived in Maryland, so I have adopted the Maryland Terps as my team.
I would ask
since I pay taxes in the state of Maryland.
But I would ask her what's her team, and this is what I get.
No, I always say Maryland.
She does, but she, by law and being my wife, she's a Michigan fan. And she knows she is because she bought some Michigan gear for me, which I appreciate.
Yes.
During last season.
Yes.
Because go blue.
Go blue.
It's going to be a good season. And for those, and I mentioned this before, Darcy has been the commissioner of our fantasy league for about 14 years now.
Yes.
And she has never won. A moment of silence. But I've won twice. And I was
he
last
says
year's
all that
winner.
so that he can say he won twice. That's the only reason why.
I was the winner last year. Our draft is starting for our fantasy next weekend, which is August 23rd or 24th.
The draft?
Yes.
The 24th.
24th. So we'll see how things go. And I plan on repeating. But you heard it.
You know what? And the draft is not very telling of what happens in the season.
Correct.
Because all of our people who got A's on their draft score, none of those people won the draft.
Right.
Won the tournament. I think the people who got F's are the people who went into the playoffs. And
I actually got a B.
Did you get a B?
I got a B minus.
Oh, okay.
But when we started the season last year, I was like in 15th place, 14th. And second half of the season, I jumped up to 8th place. And I was in my 8th place slot, which only 8 teams. No, actually, I moved up even higher. But only the top 8 teams make the playoffs. And I think I was in 6th or 5th. And, of course, ended up winning it all. But it's all about the second half injuries and things of that nature.
Yes.
So you have to take all that into account. And nobody really knows how the season's going to come out because all these analysts on NFL Network, ESPN, and whatever you want to name, they're just guessing like we are. You can look at all the stats you want, but human nature takes over and people's abilities and just never know how it's going to come out.
And I would encourage everybody, tune into preseason, at least one game, because there have been some rule changes.
Which we will discuss next episode.
The plays look different. And so if you wait to the first game of the season, you're going to be wondering what is going on. So check out the preseason so that you can get familiar with the new rule changes and what's going on the field.
And a lot of those rule changes are for the safety of the players, which I totally support.
Yes, we support it, but it's going to change the way the game is going. It's going to change the flow of the game.
It's not going to be like the 1970s and 60s.
It's not going to be like last year.
Well, true.
You don't even have to go back that far.
You're right.
It's not going to be like last year.
I loved it when players were playing muddy, hurt, bloody nose.
Yeah.
But those days are long gone.
Those days are gone.
There's no problem with that. But all right. Well, Darcy, time flies when we're just having a good conversation.
Yeah.
But this is the end of our program for today. And I hope that we entertained our folks and also taught them some things, our listeners, so they can actually do some research themselves and follow up on some of the things we discussed.
Absolutely.
But if you want to drop us a line to comment or bring your opinion or thoughts, you can reach us at memywifeandsports@yahoo.com, memywifeandsports@yahoo.com. And I want to give a shout out to our daughter, Heaven, whose birthday is coming up at the end of the month. And we wish you a happy birthday and many more.
Happy birthday. You're getting old, girl.
All right, Darcy, any final comments?
Nope. Have a great day. And remember, your mate is a reflection of you.